Come and see us for the pantomime in Cinderella. Now then, my next guest is probably the most written about and talked about, with the possible exception of Princess Diana, the most talked about lady in the world today. It is, of course, Joan Collins, ladies and gentlemen.
Merry Christmas.
You beat me to it. I was just going to say Merry Christmas and belated congratulations on your marriage.
Thank you. Same to you.
Oh, I haven't got married yet, Joan.
Oh, almost.
The thought's there,
Yeah.
and eventually we'll get around to that. Look, when the backroom boys said, we'll get you some cuttings for Joan, I thought, well, that's the usual routine. We'll have the little file.
Yes.
Little? Well, not for you. This is what I'm going to get to. We'll have the little file, and there'll be 2 or 3 pages. Yours were sent by Pickfords. There was about 50 cases came along. I read facts, fiction. What's annoyed you most about some of the, if you like, misquotes? Or...
I really have got a really good sort of attitude about water up a duck's back. I really don't get terribly annoyed about it anymore. I did it first. I said, how can they write this? How can they say this? How can they possibly say this about me? I never said that. I never did this. And then I realized that they do it about other people, too. There was one incident recently in which I went to Palm Beach and there was a ball for the Prince and Princess of Wales. And I was a little late, as you know. Us actresses, it does take a bit of time to get the old slap on everything. But I wasn't as late as Gregory Peck and Bob Hope. They were later than I was. But in the papers they wrote Joan Collins was extremely late and it was extremely rude. But they didn't write that they were late.
No.
So that sort of rather annoyed me.
You didn't gate crash, did you?
Oh, of course I did.
Alexis might have gate crashed. You see, the media would have us...
definitely.
You see, the media would have us believe, and they're trying to brainwash a little bit, Joni, that we have to take as a fact now that Alexis has taken over Joan Collins, and that Alexis would turn up late and say the things that you said. Now, how much of Joan Collins is there, and how much of Alexis is there now?
Well, it's, you know, it's like any time that you play a role, you have got to bring into the role a lot of your own characteristics. And you have also got to like the person you play. I don't care whether it's the most terrible criminal. If you as the actor don't like the character, nobody else is going to like the character. I tried very hard to try and make Alexis have some redeeming characteristics, which is not easy. The way she's written, she was grinding out cigarettes into this beautiful carpet, which I said to the scriptwriters, there's no way I'm going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But I think that it's difficult for people to separate the fantasy and the reality, and possibly because I play it so well, people think that that's me. I would like to have her, oh, there are certain words one can't say on television. I would like to have her effrontery in certain ways. I would like to have her single-mindedness of purpose. But I would not like to have a lot of her qualities, which I think are quite nasty. But at the same time, there's a few things about Alexis that are quite nice, which I think is why the public rather like her. And maybe they can see through that character and see the real me.
Well, she is a little vulnerable.
A little.
A little vulnerable.
Very little.
We can touch on that in a moment. I think the public should realize one thing that I know about you, Joan. You've got a great sense of humor. This lady's got such a fantastic sense of humor. That came to the front in I think it was 1977 when you started with Leonard Rossiter on those Cinsano ads. Now, it takes a lady with a great sense of fun of being one of the gals to have that slosh down her, down in the valley.
Right.
Right? But I meant to ask you, when I watched those times, you were Melissa, weren't you?
Yes.
And Leonard was this guy with...
Nameless man.
A nameless man.
Nameless, yes.
A chatter-upper.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
He was always described... We were always described as the odd couple. No, he was Leonard.
Yeah. But that drink, I mean, whatever it was, whether it was or not, the product, was it hot? Was it cold? I mean, it looked pretty cold.
It was sticky.
There were ice cubes in there.
They were not real ice cubes. In fact, there was one particular commercial that we did that was my favorite, where I lean back in a chair and I'm sort of protecting my glass. We're on a plane because Leonard is always doing something and getting it into me. And so I sort of protected it, the glass, And it had in it these ice cubes, which are not real ice cubes, because real ice cubes melt underneath the light, so they're made of plastic, which are much harder. And just before we did the shot, the prop man came up and says, "Watch your teeth, girl." And I thought, watch my teeth? He says, yes. He says, you get those in your face. He says, you might have to have all your teeth done. So I thought, this is charming. So can I have one of those things that boxers have to put over my lips so I won't have to talk? But anyway, when Leonard did do it, and he says, getting your head down, Melissa, good girl, and he hit the thing like that, and I went back like that, and the drink went all over my face. And the thing is, it's not that it's hot, and it's not that it's cold, but it's sticky, because it had to be the product, which is sticky. And
it was the original stuff.
Yes, and I had to drink it on the first day that we shot the commercial. It was a liquor, as you know. And I said, could I have some, coloured water, like we do on, when we do shows? And they said, no, you've got to drink the real thing. I said, but it's only 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to be drinking all this. I shall be smashed by lunchtime. They said, too bad, you've got to drink it.
Did you have many takes? I mean...
Many takes. I was so plastered. I didn't know what to do.
Plastered and sticky.
Plastered and sticky and covered in all this wet stuff because he'd put... And drinking it, too. And I said, I'm sorry, if you want me to do the rest of the afternoon, you're going to have to give me, water with cochineal or some colour in it. Because I can't, they had to shovel coffee down me.
A little bird told me that you actually tried to get some humour into the Dynasty sort of plot line, and they wouldn't bite. Something about bananas. Does that make sense to you? They said, ask her about the bananas. And...
Ask her about the banana. Well, they're always... Well, they're not always, but I like to eat in the show.
I've noticed. You look like you were rehearsing for a famine the other week.
I know.
You never stopped.
Well, I always feel it's such a pity. I watch all the other actors. They have these wonderful place settings. They have this gorgeous crystal and china. They have these fantastic meals that are sent from one of the best restaurants in Hollywood, and nobody ever eats anything. And I said, this is terrible. You see them there with the caviar. You see them there with the Chateaubriand steaks and all the good stuff, and they don't do it. So I'm going to eat. And I started off with a scallion, which is a long onion in one of the scenes, which I thought was quite amusing. I gave Crystal a zinger and then bit the scallion, and my eyes watered. But the producers liked it. So then they were always writing in things for me to eat. So they were saying, come on, Joan, what haven't you eaten? I said, well, I'm going to surprise you. So I had a scene where I threw Dex out of my bed. And I said, get out of here, Dex. I never want to see you again as long as I live.
That's Alex. Alexis, do it again. Do it again.
Get out of here, Dex. I never want to see you as long as I live. Oh, I don't know. I can't do it when I'm not doing it. And anyway, I had this big bowl of fruit. And as he left, I took the banana and I peeled it and I took a big bite of it like that. They cut it out.
Yes, that could bring it back. Very quickly. On the subject of eating, is it true that the viewers in America have Dynasty parties prior to the show coming on the air?
Yes.
What actually happens? They eat or something, or they bet on it or something?
Actually, there's lots of Dynasty. I call it Dynasty. There's lots of parties in which guys go to these clubs dressed as Crystal or Alexis. That's one kind of party.
Yes, yes.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think, yes, I've heard about such things.
Yes, of course. You would never go to one of those? No.
Not by myself, no.
But then there's the other kind, and there are certain restaurants that have the show on big screen when it's on Wednesday night, and they say that there's a prize for guessing what Alexis eats. And whoever guesses what she eats gets the prize, which I think is a free dinner. But then they also have the thing that whatever Alexis eats this week, next week we will have it on the menu. So I'm going to have something really exotic and see whether they come up with it.
I was wondering whether I should remind you something.
Hello.
Remember
I'm married?
Yes. I was your husband in a TV show some time ago. Do you remember that?
That's right, Mike and Bernie.
Yes.
Wasn't it?
I was your husband.
And I was in bed with the milkman. Was I in bed with you?
I would have remembered that. I would have remembered that. No, as I recall, I didn't. Now I think about it, I probably was the original Dimples Carrington, and to think I let Alexis go. That's a right kick in the Colbys. When it came along, the opportunity to play Alexis, and I think they sort of picked you out, Aaron Spelling, because he'd seen you in The Stud and The Bitch, and so that's the kind of lady we wanted. Mm-hmm. And then, rather than just take a part, you being Joan, I said, I'm going to do something with this, and I must take you to the